Basilica of Pius X is located between St. Michael's Gate and the Crown Virgin statue. At first it can be difficult to locate because of the fact that this huge basilica is underground and its roof is covered in a lush green lawn. The construction of a basilica capable of holding 20,000 pilgrims or more came about from the pastoral initiative of Monsignor Theas, Bishop of Tarbes and Lourdes, who had the monumental task of organising the centenary of the apparitions in 1958. A huge venue was needed to accommodate the millions of pilgrims who were expected to come to Lourdes for the centenary. Other sites were proposed, but it was decided to preserve the natural environment of the grotto and its surroundings. The sanctuary authorities also decided that it was important not to overshadow the other beautiful architecture in the sanctuary. By building the basilica underground and planting a lawn on the roof, the peaceful pastoral atmosphere would be maintained. The site was the previous bed of the River Gave and had to progressively be filled with sand, which enables the flow of underground water. The Save Canal also flowed here. It took 400 workers approximately 22 months to build the underground basilica. It was consecrated on the 25th of March 1958 to commemorate the centenary of the apparitions. It was consecrated by Cardinal Roncalli, who just a few months later was elected Pope John XXIII, and since then Saint John XXIII. The basilica is dedicated to the Eucharist, and the first Mass and celebration of the Eucharist took place here on the day of its consecration. The underground basilica is dedicated to St. Pius X, who, having been ordained in 1858, the year of the apparitions, had a strong devotion to Our Lady of the Pyrenees, Our Lady of Lourdes. It is built in the shape of an ellipse. Some have likened the shape of this basilica to that of an upturned boat, to symbolize that Jesus was the fisher of men. The main altar is a large square altar and contains the relics of 4 martyrs. The shape of the altar enables the celebration of the Eucharist from all sides. There is another altar at the St. Michael's Gate end of the underground basilica, and this is used for the celebrations of diocesan or large group masses. The chapel in honour of Saint Thérèse of Lisieux, also situated at this end of the underground basilica, has unfortunately been closed since the floods in 2013. The visual simplicity of the underground basilica reflects the simplicity of Bernadette herself, and indeed of the grotto. There are no statues adorning the underground basilica, apart from the representation of Calvary on the main altar. At the foot of the cross we see Mary, the mother of Jesus, and St. John. However, if we make our way around the upper and lower levels of the underground basilica, we find the magnificent and thought-provoking Way of the Cross, the Mysteries of the Rosary, and the apparitions in gemaille, or illuminated, lead-free stained glass. These beautiful masterpieces are illuminated from within. These may go unnoticed, but they are definitely worth a visit next time you're here. There are 40 large double-sided portraits of saints displayed under the arches, and they overlook the assembly. Saints included here are Saint Cardinal John Newman, Saint Thérèse of Lisieux, along with her parents Louis and Zélie, Saint Patrick, and of course Saint Bernadette. The inner surface of the underground basilica measures 14,500 square metres, and therefore is almost as big as St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. The underground basilica has a capacity of 25,000, with large areas on the 3 sides of the altar reserved for the sick and those with reduced mobility. While private ceremonies are celebrated in this basilica, the main ceremonies which take place here are the international masses on Wednesdays and Sundays, and the daily Eucharistic or Blessed Sacrament procession. For those of us who may find ourselves seated far from the altar during the ceremonies, large screens are provided showing closer views of the main altar, as well as subtitles which appear in the different languages. The Pax Christi Chapel is behind the throne and recalls the Peace Monument, which was situated here before the underground basilica was constructed. There is a relic of St. Pius X in the altar of the Pax Christi Chapel, And here we also see a relic of St. John Paul II. This relic is a fragment of the blood-stained soutane which he wore on the 13th of May in 1981 when he was shot in St. Peter's Square in Rome.